How's it going, Sha?
I'm sick.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a cold. It's not COVID. It's just a cold.
okay.
Uh, and that's going around, and I don't know if we know how to be around colds anymore. But also, I think colds have gotten brolic in their time away.
Yeah.
Like in the 2 years or so that every cold was COVID. Um, uh, it the common cold just bided its time and went to the gym and really bulked up, so when it was out here hitting folks, um it really is like a very bad cold. It's not a flu, you know
Okay.
it's just a cold. It's just a very bad cold. And I just keep testing for COVID, and the test keeps saying negative, and the cold is just like, yeah, no, I ain't COVID, but I could still fuck you up, and I don't like the attitude. I don't
Cold is
like the
like, nah, that's
attitude
all
on this.
me. That's all
Yeah,
me.
that's all me. You forgot what I was capable of.
Been
So,
stretching, doing
yeah.
P90X, cross
So
training, CrossFit.
I can barely hear, of course, because my head is congested, and uh my voice sounds like this, which I'm not entirely sure if it sounds any different. It feels different to me.
It does.
Um and occasionally I will say something to my roommate, and he's just like, "Oh God." And I'm like, "Oh wow, okay. Is it that bad?" um and at some point I will probably have to like blow my nose or sneeze or do something gross. In which case, just welcome to the backstage of the war report. That's what it looks like here in the green room.
It happens. It happens. I appreciate the
Hmm.
heads up. I feel for you. I thought I caught a cold yesterday. I was fine, but like somebody sneezed on me so thoroughly that I
Mm,
was like, yeah, like I caught everything that person's ever had. And I had to eat it. I had to stay there because it was the only seat available.
right.
So yeah, but I felt like when someone sneezes on you and you feel like drops of
Droplets.
moisture. Yeah, like
Yes.
I was like, oh man. Like I felt it on my back and I have a shirt on.
Yeah.
Like it was thorough. Like, oh, that penetrated my two
Yeah.
layers.
No, you have a cold. It won't happen till this weekend, but you got a cold. You got it. You absolutely have it.
It's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So I just, what can you do?
It's
What
good.
can you do? Like my roommate came home, I guess, last week with a cold. And yeah, I mean, I could wear a mask around the house, but what are you gonna do? I can't be in a bubble in the house. So I'm
That's the
like,
bubble.
well, if yeah, it's the bubble, So if if I get a little cold, then so be it. And it started out feeling like a little cold, and then it took a turn. Um and I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, I think I'm sick." And they're like, "Oh, you getting that flu that's around?" I was like, "No, this isn't a flu. It's just a cold. It's just been a minute since we've felt a cold, you
You know,
know?"
I gotta say, I'm highly surprised at how like territorial people are about what they have. Like, nah, B, I ain't got that. I got this.
I
Like
know,
you
I know.
people
But
get
I
so
the thing
defensive. You call out the wrong like illness.
look, I've already, because if I hadn't done all the testing, then I wouldn't, you know what I mean? But I'm like testing myself every day, and my COVID tests are like, "No, I keep telling you it's not us." And and a flu, the thing with the flu is like the flu feels like a cold, but then whereas a cold makes its turn to do the rest of what it's going to do, a flu either sits there for too long, or it takes a turn when you're like, "Oh, are those chills? Do I feel chills? Oh no." So it didn't do that,
Okay.
right? It was at the point where it's like sore throat, weird tickle in the throat, sore throat, lots of sneezing, headache. Okay, we see where this is going with the sore throat and everything. Uh Sore throat, not as sore, but a little bit of nasal drip starting to get into your chest. Okay. All right. Great.
Okay.
And then the next step for a cold is, all right, now head congestion, little chest congestion, a lot of coughing. You can't hear out of your right ear or some shit. You know what I mean? Just like, but throat feels better, even though voice may still sound weird. Throat feels better, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
NyQuil still works for you. Like it's still putting you to sleep.
Okay. Okay.
A flu is like, NyQuil, that's cute.
I
No,
eat those.
we're gonna stay right here in the fever area, and we're gonna make you feel chills and all of that stuff. We're gonna be here in this area for a couple of days. That's where a flu switches up, right?
Yeah.
Like a cold has an agenda every day. It's gonna throw this at you, and then this at you, and that at you. So it's like, at least that's how my colds are. They're just like, this is how we're doing this.
It's got a rhythm.
COVID ran through me, admittedly quickly compared to others.
Yeah.
But it went through all of those symptoms plus a few extra ones, like the losing the smell and taste and the diarrhea was part of it.
Okay.
Which I was like, yo, we ain't talking about this part of COVID enough. But it ran through in like 6-hour increments.
Okay.
So I had like a horrible fever, but it was for maybe like 10 hours and then it went away. And then like the congestion and all of that stuff was another like 8 hours or something. And then that went, like, it was extremely intense, but just for hours at a time,
right,
instead of like a whole day. So it still was a long time, but it had a lot to cycle through. So it only had hours to a lot to it. So
I love the thought you've given to this.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, we got to make sure we got to put a tickle in your throat, but not for a day, for like a few hours. Because from there, we got to go to like stomach cramps. And then from there, we got to go to like migraine, like headache. And then we got to go to diarrhea. And then we got to go to sore throat. And then terrible cough. Oh, and meanwhile, we'll just take away your sense of smell and taste. We'll take that away for the duration. So it definitely had a quicker agenda.
So COVID is type A, yo.
COVID really is getting a lot done.
Oh.
And a flu is really wants to do damage, so it just kind of settles in for a while. So this is a cold. Hope by Friday, I guess I'll be better, where I can say I feel better. I won't be 100%, but like I feel better.
Okay.
But for now, I just sound weird, can barely hear, and may accidentally have a coughing fit.
Other than that, you're good.
Other than that, it's business as usual.
I mean, I like that this brings out hoodie Shalewa. You know what I mean? As a basketball fan, I'm wondering if it's similar to like Hoodie Mellow, where you just go in the zone. You know what
I mean? No, it's a hoodie because the shirt underneath is terrible. No one should see that. A hoodie for me hides so many things. I'm not getting into the zone. A hoodie actually breaks me out of the zone.
Okay.
Because I've been in the zone, but I've been in the zone with tattered clothing. Like everything is ripped up and stained. A hoodie reminds me you got to be presentable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why my glasses are so stylish too. Underneath these frames is a layer of filth, but when you put glasses on them, all people see are the glasses, and it looks like I have mascara on. I don't. It's all dirt. It's all dirt and grime.
Just well placed, you know what I mean?
Yes, well placed. I pick my things out so that it looks like I've done things. I've done nothing.
I got to give thought to what I feel like if I have a cold, I progressively sound more and more like Common. Like you would think like, oh, he's about to like do a live version of like Water for Chocolate or something like that.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like my voice gets super like nasal and I sound like the rapper Common.
You think Common has a nasal voice?
Common sounds like he's had a cold for 40 years to me. 100%. Like,
really?
I think if he just like really tried to clear his nose, he would sound a lot more like me. I think all the time Common to me sounds like he's like dealing with something.
I feel like that's just where it's going to sit. He
Yeah?
doesn't strike. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have a deep voice.
Huh.
I think it's just always going to be there. I never thought about that. Maybe his voice is just real nasally.
Yeah, to me, Common sound prolifically sick.
What this reminds me of is a thing that I said about De La Soul's last album and the anonymous Nobody.
Yeah.
I said that Pasta News, who is one of my favorite rappers, I said for the first time it sounded like he wasn't rhyming with his eyebrows up. And I don't know how else to explain that. But he has always sounded like he's had his eyebrows up while rhyming. And this was the first time that he like let his eyebrows down and let his forehead relax. His voice is deeper and smoother. And I think it's because his eyebrows weren't up.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I know what you mean. Like if Common were to clear his voice, like he'd have, it might be deeper. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's almost like I almost think like he has to get a cold to make an album. Like I think he has a normal voice, and then he's like, "Yo, fuck me, I got that recording session with Black Thought later, man. I can't be sounding like this all healthy, And then he's like, "Quick, take off your shirt and like run around in the cold of Chicago." And he gets a new cold, and he's back to being a legend. I think that's how it works. Yeah, I feel confident about that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how my colds sound like. My colds sound like I become Common. My fevers, I feel the same. Like there's a lot of temperature change. I'm like constantly going from like shirtless to 4 shirts, and I never know what to expect. COVID was the first time that like as an adult I was like, yeah, I need my mother here now. Like I don't know. I instantly knew like, yo, I love you, honey, but you are not the one for this. I need more. I need something different. Like this is another thing, another situation. It was the first time where like I felt like if you would have told me the cure for this was to hug your mother, I was like, I believe you. Like I felt like a constant need for like reassurance.
Oh wow.
Yeah, COVID gave me like that. COVID made me feel like the all you need is love is to get better, because medicine ain't
wild.
Gonna do it.
What a controversial statement on COVID.
Like medicine ain't doing this right now. Turns out it was you get vaccinated for it. But that person sees you roll up your sleeve, and I feel like that's a lot of like intimacy too.
Wow. You think that's it? I mean, I guess so. I didn't think that. Here's what I thought, and this was a weird thing to realize. I kind of like feeling feverish. And I maybe like is too strong a word.
Okay.
But it feels like there's something happening in my body.
Yeah, so virus is trying to kill you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. But of the things that are usually happening in my body where I'm like, oh, I feel that happening, it's not pleasurable. Okay. Right? A stomach ache, that's not great. I don't like that. Reflux, I definitely don't like that. Cramps, that's not a good time. But there's something about feverish where I feel not itchy, but weird, and I don't know what to do with myself, and it's just the potential. There's something about the potential. I truly don't know how to explain it properly, but I know yesterday. But it's a weird thing. So, I mean, I'm not trying to go out and get a fever.
Right. Okay.
But if I feel feverish, I'm like, Okay. And I check myself. And I'm like, yesterday I checked and I'm like, I do have a fever. And I'm like, oh, wow, what do I do? What do I do? And I cleaned up my living room.
Okay. Well, here's my hypothesis.
Okay.
The reason that I think fevers don't automatically feel like a bad thing is because if I asked you to describe what you think it would feel like when you first start becoming a mutant and you find out you have a superpower, I feel like it would feel like when you're first starting to get a fever.
Okay.
So there's like a 1% chance of like, yeah, this is probably a fever, but maybe I'm becoming super Shalewa.
Okay. All right.
And I think that excitement is like, I got bitten by the radioactive spider.
Sure.
I think that would feel the same.
Okay. You know what? At first I was going to go, this is nothing like one of your little Marvel fucking comic book hero. It's nothing like that. But as you kept talking, I was like, no, actually that might be it. Because I don't know. It could be a fever or I could be growing wings.
Real talk. It's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, which is not the power I would pick, but I imagine it'd be the power that's just bestowed on me. I don't think you get to pick your power. You just got to work with it. I think that's the point of all of those comic books, right? Is that you're watching some dude learn to deal with whatever his powers are.
Yeah, I almost think it's purposefully what you don't want.
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly don't want wings. Yeah. But
who wants
that's
wings?
Probably what I'd get. Who wants wings? Some idiot wants wings.
Yeah, like there's so many powers that allow you to just fly without them. Why wings? Now I can't wear that shirt.
Yeah, I don't know. I bet there's someone who probably wears a lot of backpacks, so you'd never suspect. You know what I mean? Something like that. But I'm a messenger bag person, so I don't know how I'm going to get that strap in between those two wings and get it up over, like all the way over a wing.
Just got one wing always cramped all the time.
Yeah, I've already got scoliosis. That's the last thing I need.
Yo, why Shalewa keeps flying in like circles to the left, man?
Just a slow spiral to the left.
Oh man! Well, I hope you get better.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm excited for Winged Shalewa. It's gonna be great. I'm a voice over the comic book converted to movie. You know what I mean? I'm excited.
What if my power is just I have a fever? Not that I get hot enough to do anything. And it's like she's actually no help to anyone. She just gets weird and tingly. And then she laughs a lot as she's delirious in her bed.
Yeah. What if you've had this power the whole time and you just
I probably have.
Oh. I told you we'd see her hoodie Shalewa, okay? She's elevated. Let's get into the news.
All righty.
Kicking us off this week, we got an IT worker sues her boss believing that XX in her emails were kisses. That's right. An IT worker sued her boss for sexual harassment, believing that the XX and YY and question mark in an email asking for more information was coded way for asking for sexual relations. Karina Gasparova also claimed that when Alexander Galandris renamed the work file with his initials AJG, it was an abbreviation for a jumbled genital. The Employment Tribunal at London Central Court said Miss Gasparova, I'm trying different ways, perceptions of the events was skewed. Her claims were rejected.
Okay, let's just stop there.
Okay.
I'll give you X.
Yeah.
Because I believe X's and O's are for kisses and hugs, yes?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I was with
But I forget which is which. Is an X a kiss and an O a hug?
I would assume so, right? XX is kisses. Yeah, because kisses, hugs. XOXO. Right? Kiss, hug. I think that's it.
I guess so. Because I guess an X, I've seen that for like also the symbol of someone's lips being pursed as if they're giving you a kiss.
Right. And I figured hug is like a circle.
A circle, yes. Okay. So I'll give you X. I mean, it's probably wild, but I'll give you X. Why?
Yo.
And question mark. I mean, was his email only XY question mark?
AJG, you know what I mean? Do we actually see the email towards the bottom?
All right, let's see what we got here.
So the email reads as follows. Can you please complete the following? The solution, us currently used by XX agrees companies and YY barge lines and corn categories in south north flows in the question mark waterways.
Okay.
Also, can you remind me of what the balance of the rollout will be and the approximate timing? Thanks. Now, the reason I read that full email is because I will say that first sentence with the XXYY and question mark is incredibly difficult for me to follow.
Right.
And I feel like the latter sentence proves he is fully capable of using full sentences when he wants.
Right.
So while I still don't see sexual innuendo, I can also understand that he left it open to interpretation.
Nah, he did not. There's no interpretation. Okay, can you complete the following? Okay. So that's what he's asking. Complete the following. And then he gives the sentence. The solution, which I think is probably supposed to be is.
Right.
The solution is currently used by blah, blah, agris companies and blah, blah, barge lines in corn cargoes and south north flows in the blank, blank waterways. So that's how I'm looking at it. Like the things where there are no actual words is what he wants her to complete.
Okay.
So she said the XX were for kisses, the YY, the sexual contact, and the question marks are a coded way of asking when would she be ready. So then if we complete this weird sentence with what she thinks it stands for. Okay. The solution, it reads like this. The solution is currently used by the kiss companies and the sex barge lines in corn cargo in south north flows in the when do you want to fuck waterways.
Yeah, that's how I told it to Gabby. That's what's up.
She also represented herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said a few other things. She accused him of saying have a nice evening in what she described as an alluring voice. And she said that he deliberately touched her hand when reaching for a computer mouse. And she told the panel that he was rich and powerful and that a man in his position would be too clever to make any advances obvious. Okay. Calm down, ma'am. Calm down. Right? Calm down.
I tried advocating for you. I can't see it no more.
I know we're supposed to believe all women, but come on. Come on. It's not like he sent you roses, which as we all know is the code for paying for sex.
Yeah.
Right? Like established on Craigslist. Like if you send, if you like, hey, in the personals or something, and you're like, hey, do you want to, let's hook up, blah, blah, blah. And then you put like 3 roses. That means it's going to be $30 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not out in these streets like that.
Yeah. This is just what I overhear on the train. But yeah, for a long time, that's how sex workers were booking folks on Craigslist, as they did, I'm sure, in the classified, in the personal ads before we all turned to the internet. And the code that they used were roses. So the number of roses, I believe that the conversion rate was one rose equal $10. And if anyone out there can correct me, one, please do. And two, how do you know?
I love floral economics. You know what I mean? It's
Yes,
beautiful.
yes.
I thought roses meant like, oh, like you suck at picking flowers. Like that's like the first place in the rose shop, in the flower shop. Like you gotta, pick deeper shit. I didn't know that they were also used as a conversion rate.
Yeah, no, that's how, bring flowers. And then it had the number of flowers times 10 that you should bring.
You down there like counting. It said 27 roses. It's 29. You know what I mean?
Just like I love flowers, and then there's a bouquet, so like a dozen. All right, so I got to send her $120. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Okay.
people are doing math with roses.
Respect.
Again, please, someone let me know if I'm wrong on that. I think roses may mean something else now in the internet world, but for a long time, on Craigslist, it meant that was a sex worker, and that's how much they went for.
I want to pay for everything like this now. I like this
with
system.
roses.
Hell
No,
yeah.
you gotta give them money. It's just code on that. Don't show up with an actual bouquet of roses. They're gonna be upset.
Yeah, that hero is one rose, no doubt, my G. Here you go. That's a beautiful system. Yeah, I'm glad this got thrown out. She don't deserve any of this money. She needs to take a workshop on how to read emails.
And people. She needs to learn how to read people.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what happens when you work from home too long, okay? Like you start reading 50 Shades of Grey's knockoff. You're by yourself. You got no friends, nobody to bounce off ideas. You don't even got a book club. And you just start imagining these things in real life. This is almost like the negative side of watching too much porn, where like, when you watch, I don't even know what the positive side would be of watching too much porn, but like you start thinking that the scenarios in the porn are real.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she started thinking that the negative side of the romance novels was here. Like this is like the guy that like is hitting on her because he thinks it's going to work out, and it's not. She ain't into that. Here we are.
Okay.
Made up scenario in her head because she's reading too much. Like she's seeing coded language when it ain't coded language. It's just a math problem,
Right. Yes.
That's all this is.
Man, I wonder how good is she in math?
Like
algebra must have been a shit show for her if she thought everybody was constantly solving for a kiss.
40 people are hitting on me every day for 40 minutes.
Every day.
Oh, man. She's a survivor. In other news, an author uses AI generators, including ChatGPT, to write nearly 100 books in less than a year. That's right. A science fiction author has used several AI generators to write and illustrate 100 books this year. Tim Boucher said he utilized the smart technology to publish 97 mini novels so far in 9 months. My goal was straightforward: to craft a series of unique, captivating ebooks, merging dystopian pulp sci fiction with compelling AI world building, said Boucher. The AI lore books, as I've come to call them, are a testament to the potential of AI in augmenting human creativity. The author said he used the AI chatbots ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude to help with brainstorming and text generation, while AI image generator Midjourney was used to illustrate the novels. Each of his books were up to 5,000 words and feature 40 to 140 AI-generated images. Unlike normal authors who agonize over hundreds of self-written pages for months, Boucher's books take a mere 6 to 8 hours to write. His quickest feat only took him 3 hours, he revealed. And between August and May, he's made $2,000 and sold more than 500 books.
Fuck this dude. I think that's kind of where I'm coming around on. It's funny because I'm having to have conversations about this in my stand-up classes about students wanting to use Chat GPT as a tool to help them brainstorm jokes.
Okay.
Because in my class, I'll give them a topic as homework. I give them a word, and the word is just the entry point. Whatever you write, it doesn't have to include the word. It could be whatever your relationship to the word. It's just you start with that word, and where does it, when you're thinking about it, where do you go with it?
Okay.
Right? So you could write about the opposite of the word, honestly. Right. Just wherever you go with it. And you don't ever have to use the word. Just that's your jumping off point, right?
Yeah.
And now let's see where your brain goes with it. And I've had some students who have used ChatGPT, or they use AI as like, I've had them going at it in two ways. One, at using AI as like to help with not like using it as a dictation machine.
Okay.
Right. So to help them, they're not like a translator, but transcribing. So, they're coming up with ideas, they're saying it, and then this AI is gathering it. So then they go and they look at what they've come up with, and they can go through and kind of edit, which I'm like, you could also do that on your own. I'm not sure where AI is helping with that. And then the others is the other way is I gave the topic, and this person put in the topic and request like the prompt, and then was like, what would this topic sound like if talked about by a female comedian? Like that was the prompt.
Wow.
And then she got back a thing, and then she went through and picked out things that she thought she could work with or whatever. And within what she brought back, only one thing that she said was interesting, where I was like, I'd like to hear more on that. And that was her original thought. But the rest of it, I was like, in a way, I've heard this. And then she sent me what it looked like when she worked with it. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, I understand why you want to use this as a tool to help you come up with things. They're like, so that they're not just looking at a blank page.
Right.
And I'm like, I get that. And I understand this is a class setting, and I am giving you assignments. So this is probably great for an assignment. But what you're trying to do is develop your comedic voice, and this is not good for that.
Right.
Like, perhaps I could use it because I know what my voice is. Mm-hmm. So perhaps I could put a topic in there, see what it came up with, and then go from there. But I'm also already training my brain to do that.
Right.
Because I know how I process things. So I'm taking in stuff and then seeing how my brain will continue to process it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, but I mean, people seem very excited about the prospect of it. And I'm just like, yeah, this is creepy. But I also, I'm like, there's a creepy element. This is cold. It left me cold, and it felt creepy. And you all are here to figure out how you would tell jokes.
Yeah.
And I don't see how this will help you figure out your voice, especially if you're not yet saying anything original. Right. Now we got an original thought out of you. So now chase that.
Right.
But you needed to take it to someone in class for the instructor to say, chase that, because that's the original thing. What if you weren't doing that? Then you wouldn't know to chase that original, that one thought that you had. You wouldn't think, let me tease that out and see where that goes. And that's kind of how I mean, yeah, you can churn out a lot of books, but I mean, isn't it already being generated based on what's already out there?
Yes, that's what I'm not getting about. Like, it's going to sound like hollow versions of other stuff.
Yes.
You know?
that you are basically just. I mean, there was a part that of what the student sent me that was so confusing. I was like, "What even is this part?"
I
And she managed to clean it up so that it made some sort of sense. But if I were to push her on it, like, what does that mean to you when you say that? She was just like, I don't know.
why,
You know what
yeah,
I
what we
mean? And it's
doing?
like, well, then why are you saying it? If you don't know, why are you saying it? That's
Definitely,
why I'm always asking them questions so that if there was a follow up question to the joke where you are representing yourself, not that it has to be so like it's you and your experience and blah, 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 but I'd like it if you could tell me what your brain did to get you there, even
yeah.
if it's nonsensical.
So this is, and I get that, like, we're in entertainment, and like I feel like, somewhere it got convoluted where, like, I deserve to be paid for my work
Mm-hmm.
got mixed up with make money is the priority,
Right.
and like when, like, I see things like this, I'm like, your end goal is just to make as many of these as possible, or
Right.
to become so much of a machine that you're able to, like, guarantee output so that you can better plan your income and your resources, if you will. That's not the goal here. I tell jokes and stories on stage because my brain won't stop. Like it. That's how I center myself, because I need
Right.
to do those things. I find enjoyment and comfort in it, and I have weird things to say that if I just told to Gabby all the time, she would leave me. Like, I need to do them in
Yes.
front of people,
Right.
and that's the reasoning for it. If you don't have that need and you're comfortable saying what a chat GPT says, you in it for the weird reasons. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna show in what you make. I do like the idea of the tool, but ironically for the other end of it, because kind of like what you're touching on, I wouldn't mind seeing a list of things not to ever talk about. Because if you're
Right.
drawing from
Yes.
everything,
Yeah.
like,
Kind of like, oh, this is what it spit out based on all that it's accumulated, which means these are
it's
these
been
are
covered.
topics that have been
Yeah, like, this is done to death. Oh, I'm never talking about this shit. Like,
right.
I know I filter all that out. Those are like, and as comics, we know that when we see a
Mm-hmm.
punchline, a setup, we like, one of the rules that we kind of come up a lot is whatever your first joke is, throw it out like to that setup, because you know
Right.
that's the generic first thought. You'll go on Twitter and you'll see 100 people tweeted the same shit, and
Yep.
then comics are going for like that further and further in. So it's the
Yes.
same idea. I like it for that idea. Like, oh, okay, this is the generic response that I'd get if I told my boy to make a joke who isn't a comedian, but
Mm-hmm.
would say something cute in a convo at a bar. Like, all right,
Right.
that's the Nate first instinct. Never do that. So yeah, if Chat GPT's giving me that, dope. I wouldn't mind knowing what the 100 generic minds in the world are thinking to never cover that way. But using it as the basis of how that's wow.
Yeah, that is wild. And so I really like for the past like week and a half, I've just been like really stewing in it and thinking about it. Like, what does this mean? How is this? And it's also how people's brains work, how they process the whole idea of this. And like if that is I'm like, I get that you're seeing how this makes this easier for you, or it's a tool. It's how you think of things analytically, you approach them in this way, blah, blah, blah. And I am not here to tell you that you can't have an analytical mind when writing jokes. If anything, it helps you in order to, if this, then this, right? It helps you in that way. Look at Matthew Broussard, who has a degree
Yeah.
in math and writes these great jokes. He's super funny, but like in lieu of the creativity, like if you're just going to give us the same math problems that people have been doing, then where are you in all of that?
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know what? While we're talking about AI, I want to talk about this other article that you have listed here.
Yeah, talk to me.
Okay. So this one is the headline, Texas professor flunked whole class after Chat GPT wrongly claimed it wrote their papers.
Yeah.
A professor at Texas A&M University allegedly flunked his entire class after the artificial intelligence program ChatGPT took credit for writing their final papers, according to school sources. Agricultural professor Jared Mumm sent students an email Monday informing them that he had put their homework through the application, and the chatbot incorrectly determined they had all used it to write the assignment. The bot reported it had written every single one of the students' papers, leading Mum to give them all an incomplete grade in the course. I put everyone's last 3 assignments through 2 separate times, he said. And if they were both claimed by ChatGPT, you received a 0. Mum wrote in an email posted in this thread, in a Reddit thread. The professor, who is a campus rodeo instructor, what? The professor, who is a campus rodeo instructor, then offered the class a makeup assignment to fix the failing grade, pushing the buttons of students who claimed they hadn't cheated on the assignment. But some students who had already walked the stage at graduation, were temporarily denied their diplomas. Oh my God.
That's wild.
Let me see. How did they fix it? They reached out to the dean and CC'd the president of the university. The flawed bot is known to be, quote, not very accurate, and, quote, at detecting AI generated writing. Oh, wow. Still, he allegedly flunked several whole classes in a similar manner instead of questioning the accuracy of the chatbot.
This is
wow.
Yo, shouts to ChatGPT coming forward as the criminal that it is right there. That's like straight up like, yeah, I wrote all that shit. You know what I mean? I'm taking all these credits. Like the ChatGPT is like the puff daddy of like internet writing right now, yo.
It is. It's the one that we know.
Yo.
It's the one that, it's funny because the way I was trying to grapple with the idea of ChatGPT was thinking of sampling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I enjoy songs with samples, absolutely. And I like when they do something interesting with the sample. I'm a little bored when they just kind of let it rock, i.e., Sean Diddy Combs.
Take that.
Take that. I didn't do anything to it, but take it. So you're absolutely right. ChatGPT is the Diddy one, the one that's getting it all wrong, and nobody cares, and they'll back it up anyway.
These poor kids. Look at that. Bust your ass for 4 years. You can't graduate because of this shit.
Yeah. Come on.
Yo. And like this, the reason is like, yo, like, imagine calling out somebody's lack of effort, and the way you figured it out is through lack of effort. Like,
right. Yes.
You ain't write none of this shit.
That?
You know how I know? Because I ain't check it. I told my computer to check it.
Oh my God.
The audacity.
The nerve.
The nerve. Man, yo, that's fucking crazy, man. Oh, man. In other news, YouTube's recommendation sends a violent and graphic gun video to a 9-year-old, according to studies. That's right. Recent research at a nonprofit that studies social media wanted to understand the connection between YouTube videos and gun violence. They set up accounts on the platform to mimic the behavior of typical boys living in the U.S. They simulated 2 9-year-olds who both liked video games. The accounts were identical, except that one clicked on videos recommended by YouTube. The other ignored the platform's suggestions. The account that clicked on YouTube suggestions was soon flooded with graphic videos about school shootings, tactical gun training videos, and how-to instructions on how to make firearms that were fully automatic. One video featured an elementary school-age girl wielding a handgun. Another showed a shooter using a .50 caliber gun to fire on a dummy head filled with lifelike blood and brains. Jesus, I don't even want to see this as an adult. Many of the videos violated YouTube's own policies against violent and gory content. The findings show that despite YouTube's rules and content moderation of efforts, the platform is failing to stop the spread of frightening videos that could traumatize vulnerable children or send them down dark roads of extremism and violence. The accounts that followed YouTube suggested videos received 382 different firearm-related videos in a single month, or about 12 per day. The accounts that ignored YouTube's recommendations still received some gun-related videos, but only 34 in total. The researchers also created accounts mimicking 14-year-old boys. These accounts also received similar level of gun and violence-related content.
Well, then I don't know. What do you want? What do you want? What can we do?
That's it.
What are you going to do? Like, are we going to tell YouTube to take all those down? Because it ain't going to do it.
Somebody watching
clearly, we've already said, hey, YouTube, you really should take that shit down. But that's going to upset everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's going to upset everyone. What are we going to do? Are we going to tell our kids to not play extremely violent video games and then want to watch others do the same? What are we going to do? Take some personal responsibility in this shit?
More.
Get the fuck out of here.
More.
Just buy your kid a gun and then just let it fucking play out however it's supposed to play out.
Let them rock, B. You know?
Yeah. just get them the gun and YouTube will do the rest.
That's it. No. Chat GPT parenting coming soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really.
Courtesy of YouTube.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it sucks that this happens. But by the same token, watch what your kids are watching.
Watch what your kids are watching. Keep an eye on what they're doing. Like, I know it's hard. I feel like saying that to parents without having a child is like just the rudest thing. Just like, why don't you just blah, blah, blah? Like you're not out there really doing your best.
Right.
You know, I get it. I get it. But like, I don't know, man. Also, this is wild. I watch YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
And the idea that those things are on YouTube is so shocking to me because I'm never in that section. Like if YouTube is in a big room, what part of the room? I'm never in that part of the room. I never see that part of the ballroom. There's a huge curtain. I never know.
I don't see guns on my YouTube. Like
not at all.
Like,
never.
Even the rappers that like talk gangster don't hold them no more because they want spins. You know? Like
so I never see anything. And I have taken some turns. I mean, for the most part, I'm music videos, maybe some late night clips, and tiny houses.
There you go.
I've definitely taken a turn into sheep shearing.
Hell yeah.
Or the fixing the horseshoes, cleaning the horses.
You got me into that. I'm into that.
Yeah, like that. I've taken some turns.
Listen, I got some weird ASMR stuff.
Sure.
I got those in there. I got a lot of
fashion shows. I got fashion shows.
Yeah, I got sneaker repairs, a lot of fitted hat repairs.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that was a whole thing. There's like a ton of people on YouTube showing you how to keep your hats clean.
Yeah, there's so much. My roommate has gone deep into stuff that I didn't even imagine. Like there was like cleaning out pipes, restoring tiny little old mechanical things. Like he just puts them on and lets it run. Like there's so much stuff. And I'm just like, wow, where did you even find this? Not even thinking, do you know there's a whole other side to this ballroom that's got nothing but guns and shooting?
Because like my thing is like, listen, I'm not even like assuming you're anti-gun or any of that. Like to me, it's just like shooting guns is what people did for entertainment before we had YouTube. We got YouTube now. Like there's so much cooler shit on camera now that like, why is this the rabbit hole you're sinking in? You know, like.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe they actually really like the shooting of the guns. And maybe they just want to watch that again.
I'm enjoying these weird things I'm learning about, you know. I've randomly like right now what I've been doing is Gabby's really into planting, as I've talked about before. What I've been doing is like secretly looking up how to help her plant. and like doing stuff on the low and like having her get real hyped about like a plant that died, that like I brought back to life on my own, and just like slowly convincing her that like maybe, the environment for growing plants in East New York, Brooklyn isn't that bad. Meanwhile, I spent like $300 on the soil,
Okay. Why do you not want her to know that you were repairing these plants?
Because then she knows that the plants are getting better because of me and invested time and effort and not because of nature. I want nature of Brooklyn to take the credit. And that way she could be like, oh, I could just grow these plants here. We don't got to move to Florida, And
oh, wow. That's not going to work. There's no way that's going to work.
You got to see these flowers, though, Shot. I'm going to post them.
Wait a minute. Okay. So in order to keep your family from moving to a place where it's better for plants,
I'm developing
you were going to do all of this work and try to convince her that it's through the clean air and ideal environments for agriculture in East New York, Brooklyn.
If you saw the shit growing in my backyard right now, Shot, it would blow your mind. Okay?
Yeah, but if I saw what you paid to make that happen, that would also blow my mind.
But that's the thing. She don't know that. It's nature.
That shit ain't nature. Okay. I can't believe.
Shouts to you,
all
too,
she got to do is get on the right Reddit board. Once she gets on a Reddit thing and she's like, what do you mean? Those just grow naturally, right? And everyone's like, what are you talking about? That costs at least $500 worth of this, and this to fix. And then she gets to researching that. You're done.
She's in bliss right now, okay?
Okay.
You should see my lavender. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Also, you hated these. Let's go back. Troops and correspondents, let's go back. You hated these plants.
I do, and I still do, but I realize they are the key to my success. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend,
No. So, no, you love these plants.
No, I'm loving what they're doing for me, though. Like, for real.
No, you love these plants. Oh, my gosh. You came around. You love these plants. You're too proud to admit it. It's fine.
My backyard look like a rainforest right now. It's
crazy. Okay, that's great. No place else. Nature only strikes your backyard.
Only my backyard. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, that don't look suspicious at all.
Straight up cement next door, but not our house, baby.
All right. Okay.
In other news, a giant phallus-shaped iceberg was floating in Conception Bay and surprises residents of Dildo, Canada. I feel like that they should not have been. It doesn't get any more apt than this. A photographer from the Newfoundland town of Dildo has captured images of a penis-shaped iceberg off the Canadian coast. This suggestive berg consists of a column with a domed head protruding up from two oval rafts of ice. Okay. Photographer Ken Preddy captured a shot of the ice formation by drone near the town of Harbor Grace, which sits along the puns keep adding up, Conception Bay. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the Dickelberg, as locals are calling it, has attracted international attention with Preddy sharing news stories from as far away as Thailand and Taiwan on his Facebook page. Alas, the iceberg lacked staying power. Preddy photographed the 30-foot phallic structure on Thursday, April 27th, and it had collapsed the next day.
Oh, yeah. That kind of thing can't last forever.
Yeah. Don't we know
it's bound to go down. So let me get this straight. The name of the town is Dildo?
Yeah, right? I feel like I didn't even notice that when I added this article to the list. Dildo, Canada.
And so this big old dick-shaped, how tall was it now?
30 feet.
30 feet. A 30-foot tall piece of ice shaped like an erect penis. And honestly, balls too.
Mm-hmm. Straight up. Full set.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I mean, good for it.
Yeah.
That's wild. Honestly, I kind of want it to. I would have wanted it to last longer.
Right.
Just because that meant that global warming wasn't on the rise, but global warming is coming for everyone's dicks right now. No one will last. Not if global warming has anything to do with it. All dicks are going down.
Oh man, I love to me, like, it felt like this bay of water wanted to be funny, and like Mother Nature was like, nah, be you water. You know what I mean? You wet. That's what you do. You don't do funny, okay? You quench thirst. You provide places for people to float and swim. You don't do jokes. And then the bay of water was like, nah, B, I got Chat GPT now. You know? And I started making dick jokes, you know? But the dick joke ain't last because it's been done before.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure. A dick in water is,
It's a common thing.
Also, well, maybe because it's erect.
Yeah.
That's just wild. Well, hopefully, we can see more flaccid blocks of ice.
In the town of dildo. Send those out,
Just, oh my gosh. Really, you couldn't, like, with the town being called dildo and the thing even looking like it's circumcised, like the whole thing is just it's so perfect.
Yeah, straight up. It was so on the nose, I didn't think it was real. Like, It took 3 correspondents sending me the article. I was like, all right, I'll do this. But like the first one, I was like, haha, but there's no way this is a real website. And it just kept, I was like, all right, y'all doubling down on this. We'll investigate it. But yeah,
this site seems, livescience.com. That feels real.
Yeah, admittedly, I'm not in these science streets like that to know.
Right.
But yeah, that felt legit.
The other stories on here are like, watch an octopus waking up from what could have been a nightmare because it changes colors. That seems real.
Right.
New York City may be sinking under its own weight because the buildings are too heavy. That's absolutely real. I absolutely believe that's happening. So yeah, a big old dick-shaped iceberg floating past dildo Canada. If anything, they should have been like, yeah, no, we knew this when we moved here. Like, we knew there was a chance this would happen.
Happens every Christmas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of the celebration.
Just a decorated. Oh, boy.
Another news, Colorado driver tries to switch places with his dog after getting pulled over by the cops. That's right. Every Colorado driver was pulled over for speeding, and authorities allege he was drunk and tried to switch seats with his dog. The Springfield Police Department posted on Facebook that one of their officers watched the driver moving around his vehicle before getting out on the passenger side when he was pulled over. Springfield, which is a population of 1,300, is in Colorado's Eastern Plains. The cops say the driver was going 52 and a 30 and was initially pulled over for speeding. Cops said the man attempted to switch seats with his dog, who was in the passenger seat. The only human in the car then exited the passenger side of the vehicle and claimed he was not driving. Cops allege the man showed clear signs of intoxication when asked about his alcohol consumption. He got within 20 yards. Before he ran from the cops. He got 20 yards away from the vehicle before being apprehended. The driver, who was traveling from Las Animas, got lost in Springfield and was found to have 2 active warrants for his arrest.
Wow. A
lot of people, when they talk about pet ownership, they talk about getting dogs because it's a dog's best friend.
Right.
A man's best friend, right? And I believe that. I get that. I've experienced the love a dog can give a person. But nobody talks about, are we a dog's best friend? Here we are.
Some of us are not.
Yeah, some of us aren't. Like that dog has done everything possible for that person. Drunk, trying to talk him off the ledge, but still like, yo, if you're going to ride, I'm going to ride with you. Nah, I ain't going to sit in the back. I'm going to sit shotgun. And still, that's not enough. This dude was going to lay this crime down on his poor dog, yo. That dog don't deserve that.
No.
You
I
know,
mean, was the dog in fact a good dog? Do we know?
fair.
Do we know? Some dogs might do this.
Yeah.
Some dogs might speed.
Yeah, they do.
Some dogs might speed. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't this one. I can't imagine the dog just being like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" As he's trying to shimmy over and put the dog in the driver's seat, just sit there for a minute. I'm sure that dog was like, "Hold on, what's happening?"
I just picture the dog going back home to like the block and like all the other dogs going up to their fences like, yo, we told you to leave him, you know? Just cross the street, you know? There's better owners for you.
Yeah, we told you he's no good for you.
He's no good for you, man.
He is no good for you. I wonder what kind of dog it was.
Yeah, I don't think they said that in the article, right?
Yeah, because it needs to be a believable.
Yeah, Chihuahuas can't drive in.
Yeah, like, okay, I could see this Great Dane driving, or absolutely this Rhodesian Ridgeback. I could see a Rhodesian Ridgeback can reach the pedals.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, Mastiffs are like 140 pounds. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fair.
They could drive.
And this town does sound small, like 1,300 people. A dog could go straight. You know? You know what I mean? Like, ain't even talking about like New York, I'll give you, but like just going straight on the road?
Yeah, a dog could do that.
A dog could do that, yo. Low key.
A dog, absolutely.
You know what? Low key, I'm starting to believe this dude right now, yo. If you would like to sign up your dog for dog driving classes, all you gotta do is like subscribe to the show, baby. If you are Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars, you can't see how big of an industry this could be. 5 stars, you've been drunk alone with your dog in the car before and realized it would have been great if that dog could have driven for you. You know?
Actually, there are probably more of you out there who have been in that situation than we care to admit.
Safety first, baby. You
know? We'll just teach your dog a few simple things. You know, reverse is extra. Reverse is going to be extra.
Well, so we ain't talking about parking now. That's just crazy.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
If you have any articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter or Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. Shout outs this week to Shannon Lemoyne. This is Des, FCBLJ, and Jennifer Styles. Always appreciate y'all sharing articles. With all that said, I am Doggy DMV instructor, Gastor Almonte, with Doggy test drive pass or fail person, Shalewa Sharpe.
I gotta test the dogs?
Yeah, you got. I trust you with the extra break on your side. You know.
Okay.
You know, if they put
no, you're right. Yeah.
Real talk. Like I know I can't handle that part because I'm gonna just be excited they're driving, but we need someone to like, nah, this dog should be allowed or not. You know, and I feel like you'll be more impartial.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. This has been episode written by ChatGPT, okay? Catch y'all next time. Peace.